Welcome to the All Need Music Podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
and we're back again for another episode. This time, what are we pointing at? A bird flying by?
I got a peanut gallery here.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
They're looking at me funny.
That's not surprising at all.
It's because I'm wearing a different hat.
So am I. And I think that we're yin and yanging it again.
Total unintentional, but
Damn right. So
yin and yang.
this episode, we're covering CMT Next Women of Country 2025. And
Sir.
in keeping with our new rules for ourselves, we're wearing artist merch for all of our episodes going forward now, just to support artists and encourage you guys to support artists by buying their merch. And what better way than to represent for a 2024 Next Woman of Country and rocking the May Estes hat. And I could tell by the color, Jesse was rocking. Oh, we got the Ella koozie.
Got the Ella Langley koozie from Next Women of Country last year.
So I could tell by the shade of the hat, only because I've seen these hats before, that was the opposite to the white and burgundy writing on this one, and that one's the burgundy with the white cream colored writing on it.
Yep.
Nice.
Do I look like Brantley Gilbert?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, not even
close. I don't have enough tattoos. Otherwise it would be, right?
No, not really.
Back to the Next Women of Country.
Yeah, so obviously every year CMT puts out their Next Women of Country list, and this year is no different. And so we figured
it was really before we jump into 2025's list. Little backstory. I'm sure you guys have heard if you guys watch any of the older podcasts, but the day after we were blessed with the performance of May Estes last year at the intersection in Grand Rapids when she opened for Jackson Dean, when instantly all four of us were like, this girl's got it. Like, where has this girl been? Like, she's going to blow up. And, that was a Friday night, I believe, or so. Yeah, I think it was like a Friday night. And, the next day we get up and we're drinking our coffee. And on Saturday and Sundays, we always watch the countdown on CMT, and laying on the couch right there, little hungover from the night before. And
Jesse was, I wasn't.
That's because he didn't drink that night. But we're laying on the couch, and all of a sudden, it was the Next Women of Country 2024 list that day. And boom, all of a sudden, this May Estes is on the screen, and she got it. And we're like, holy shit. Like,
well, in all fairness, we had already put out a little TikTok.
Yeah.
Remember, before we saw that episode,
yeah,
like right away we had put out that video, or was it on Facebook? Might have been Facebook, not TikTok. I don't know. But we had put it out, remember, and she had engaged with it.
That's what it was. The concert was on Thursday night, and you guys stayed the whole weekend. And so on Friday, we did the TikTok, and we might have even podcast and recapped that concert. We're talking about her. Yeah. And then it was the next day, Saturday. Maybe that's why we were a little more slow, is because Friday we put it to her a little more than we did on Thursday, because we had to drive back from that concert. But yeah, that's what it was. It was a Thursday. And then, yeah, we had already recorded and talked about Jackson Dean, and was it D White, and then May Estes. Yeah. So, yep. And she had already commented and engaged on that post that we did. And then
I think she had shared it to her story or something.
Yeah. And then lo and behold, the next day we see her on CMT, and we're like, did we just will that into like we told everybody that she was great and she was going to be huge, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's on CMT.
Yeah. It was overnight success like that.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. And that same year was our girl Ella Langley as well last year. So those were the two highlights of last year, if you ask me.
Yeah, CMT, clearly sometimes gets it right, and sometimes they leave me scratching my head. And this year's no different.
Wasn't last year, I want to say like last year, wasn't there like 12 or 14 girls?
No, there wasn't that many.
Maybe it was
Maybe.
because it was Tiger Lily Gold, which is 2 girls, and it was the Castellos, which was 3. So it seemed like there was way more people.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year there's only like what, 7?
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
7, yeah. Yeah, it just
I
seemed
think
like
that's usually ballpark what it is, 7,
is
8,
that
Yeah, I think so.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer, and we follow, a ton of artists, male and female. And there are so many talented female artists out there
Oh yeah.
that certainly deserve to be on this list, in my opinion. Humbly, but who the hell am I, right? CMT's a little bit more important than we are, but they got some great ones on this list, and they got some other ones where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So
And I mean
we'll dive.
it's kind of one of those things. I think that it's if you're hot and you're doing, well at the time, then maybe you get on the radar. And as with most people know that, Nashville is cutthroat and it's a hard industry to flourish in. So just because you might have been on the Next Women of Country, and been on the up and coming, and then some of them might have fallen off, some of them might have taken off. So
Yeah, I mean that happens
one
with
of those.
guys all the time too, where they have some success, and it's like, oh, look at them go, and then they like plateau and then fall off. I mean, there's been plenty of male artists over the years where I'm like, oh, I'm digging this dude, this guy's good,
Right.
and then just gone.
Mm-hmm.
No sign of them, But
And it
it's
could
an
be something. It
industry.
could be something like personal life, or maybe they got to a point and they're just like, "Hey, I did what I wanted to do, and I'm comfortable now, and I don't need to keep doing it."
Well, and I think, for a lot of people, the grind is really tough. When you look at artists trying to make it, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
touring year round. A lot of
Oh yeah,
times playing 5 days a week in different cities. That's going to
yeah,
take its toll on you. I don't care who you are. And that's why you see when artists kind of reach that superstardom level, they're not touring all year. They tour
right.
part of the year, and then they've got downtime. But that downtime all through like the late fall and winter and spring, that's when all of these people that are like openers for those guys and gals are out grinding on their own headlining tours,
Yep.
trying to continue to make a name for themselves and build their career up while the superstars are at home, feet kicked up on the couch, maybe doing some writing here and there and whatnot. So
Starting a hobby farm at their Nashville abode.
yeah, I mean, whatever
Couple
you feel like
donkeys
doing
and a
in your
pig.
free time, it happens.
Right.
And speaking of people with hobby farms and doing that on their spare time, we might as well open up with one of the Next Women of Country 2025 who happened to tour with said individual that I think you were just referencing.
I think you're right.
So the first female on the list this year is Alexandra Kay.
Yes.
Obviously, she's just got done touring with Jelly Roll, hence
Mm-hmm.
the reference to the hobby farm. But
She's
Alexandra
actually done
Kay,
she did like two different tours with him. She was on I don't know if it was a tour, but if one of those where she kind of like jumped in at certain
filled in some
cities.
dates.
Yep, because I remember last year I saw I don't know if it was an interview with her, but it was when she got the phone call from Jelly Roll to then like bring her on tour with him last year for his Beautifully Broken tour last year, because she had done the year prior. She had hit a couple shows with him and opened a few times. So, and
Right.
he talked about how great she was. And then when they asked him about like who he wants to like take on the road, like that was like top for him. Like he was like, yep, I got to have her. So,
Yes, and I remember, like, I've been following her for a while. I remember watching the video when she got the call from Tim McGraw to go on tour with her.
mm-hmm.
When she was making the videos, singing while making her coffee.
Right, because that's
And
what she used to do. That's kind of how she got it. Was she used
yeah,
to, sing a lot of old like '90s country songs, like stuff that she probably grew up on, and that's kind of how she was doing it.
yeah, went viral over and over and over again, posting those videos, and racked up kind of, I would say, a pretty damn solid amount of fame just with that.
Yeah,
Um, and that just goes to show, obviously, the power of social media, because she didn't have, a label or anything like that. She just went to town, making these videos, and created a fan base for herself.
I'm pretty sure that, and I could be wrong on this one, but I thought that last year when Jelly called her, that she was an independent at that time as well when he took her on tour. She might have she could be signed by now. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I'm sure she's got a label
She just
now.
signed. My peanut gallery just chimed in and said that she did just sign a label not too
Okay.
long ago. So yeah, I do remember that though, and that was one of the things because Jelly was independent for the longest time, when he was doing his rapping and everything like that, and he's always been about bringing those independent artists. I know that he's working with Struggle Jennings, who's an independent, that he's trying to get him in. So that
Right.
was kind of one of the things that he wanted her to be highlighted.
Yeah, well, and she's obviously done well enough for herself that she made her Opry debut back in 2022, and I think she's played the Opry 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
since then, prior to making this Next Women a Country list. And so sometimes that happens where you've already kind of started to make that climb, and put in some serious work building a great foundation before kind of reaching the level of making that list, if you will. I know someone else on the list, as we get down farther, has had some pretty substantial accolades, leading up to being on this list. So
You know
sometimes
where
it
else
just
she
goes that
played?
way. Tailgate and Tall Boys.
Yeah. Did you see her there?
No,
I
I did
saw her
not.
there. Tasha
Yeah.
saw her there.
Yeah.
She was pretty great. Yeah. She opened for Jelly Roll at Tailgate and Tall Boys in Midland last year. So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
No,
That was because we didn't see her at CMA Fest, did we?
no.
No? Okay. So that was the first time that I think that I seen her was at Tailgate and Tall Boys last year, and that was part of his Beautiful Broken. Was she at Faster Horses that year when he played 2 years ago?
Hmm. God,
Or
I don't
I guess
remember
it was
now.
last year. I don't know.
That's a really good question. I don't remember seeing her, to be honest with you.
If she did
Um,
play, I don't think we went to it. Must have conflicted with a different one, but we got our tech guy over here looking this stuff up.
yeah, I'm checking it real quick here.
And we
Um,
apologize to all our viewers and listeners out there right now. I got a little bit of a congestion cold going. Obviously, Uncle Matt right there's got a little cough going. So I
it's
do
that
apologize.
wonderful, wonderful springtime
Yep.
allergies giving you the
Yep.
scratch in the back of your throat. And I'm not seeing her on the lineup list from 2024. This
So
doesn't
she,
seem to be a full list though either. So I can't say for certain, but I don't remember her being there. I feel
I don't,
like had
I
she
don't
been
think she
there,
was.
here we go.
Because that's just something like she was on tour with him, and I mean that was just a week after Faster Horses when Jelly Roll was up there in Midland. But festivals are a little bit different than like actual tours.
Yep, nope, she was not on for 2024.
Okay.
Nope. So I didn't think so. I feel like if she would have, I would have definitely seen her.
Right.
You know, because I like her, and I'm not gonna skip somebody when I like them. You know,
Right.
typically if I have to choose between two, that's one thing, but usually I remember those, and I'm like, ah, damn it, I missed so and so.
Right. Oh, there we go. I had to
Oh,
tone it down a little bit.
your color looks better.
I look a little tanner now. Yeah.
You do.
It was a
So
little bright. I thought it was because it was still light outside right now because with them allergies coming summertime, so it's getting a little lighter outside. So
yeah,
not complaining.
not at all. So, but I do think we'll get a chance to see Alexander K at CMA this year for sure. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
shocked if we didn't. So looking forward to that.
I think that's kind of one of the things when they're the CMT Next Women of Country. I think they kind of hoped to like get them there since it's in Nashville and it's the CMA you know
Right.
fest that they're going to try to highlight as many of those artists as possible. Just like was it 3 years ago? I think when Lainey was on the Next Women of Country, and then she actually opened CMA Fest that 50th year that we were there. She was the first concert to go of the entire weekend. So
You know, the funny thing is she still played the Chevy Riverfront stage that year. I don't know if you remember that or not.
yeah, she was the first one. It was like 11 a.m. on Thursday. She started the entire festival. She was the first
And then
at the
also played the
riverfront.
stadium
Yeah, and
and
then killed that at the stadium. Yeah.
right.
So yeah,
Good stuff.
pretty cool. If any of you guys have not been down to CMA Fest, we went for the 50 year 2 years ago.
Yep.
Um, just unbelievable the amount of
Come hang out with
shows
us
that
there
you can.
this year.
Yeah, we'll be there again this year. So and hopefully everybody that we talk about on the list here is going to be down there, so we'll get a chance to see them, and who knows, if they see this podcast, then they might recognize who we are, and might get a little interview with them. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe not. So moving on the list, just to kind of keep this thing rolling a little bit. Jesse, who's up next?
So next on the list we have Dasha,
And
which
she is
Tasha likes to call her
the Wish version of Taylor Swift.
That's not maybe nice.
That's why we don't let them on. I always said that Dasha, like she does have a very Taylor Swift look to her. I don't think her music coincides with kind of what Taylor Swift does, but it does kind of. I definitely got a very Taylor Swift vibe from her when I first seen her. So I was always talking about like she's kind of like Taylor Swift, and Tasha is like, yeah, like the Wish version of her. And I was like, that's not nice.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she definitely
She is growing. She's growing on Tasha. She said that when she first came out, she didn't really know, but she's been growing on her. And I think she's a great performer and artist myself. I've liked her, not like 100%. Like when I first heard her name, I was like, what? But then like once I seen her perform and sing and everything like that, I think she definitely has what it takes. So
yeah, and she definitely became a household name in 2024. Austin kind of blew up and ran up the charts and hung out on the charts for quite a while. Didn't make it into the top 10, but it did make it into the top 20 and hung around for a while. And I think that that probably made her a household name with most country music fans.
And her
At
video
least,
on CMT, she was in the top 20 many weeks in a row with that song too.
yeah,
So still might be. I'm not really 100%. I don't think I seen it last time, but which is really weird because researching into it a little bit, like the dance that she does in there, that's like how she kind of got her like break. Was she did that little dance on TikTok. She does it's kind of like a little line dance, if you will, but that's kind of where she kind of got with a lot of these artists. TikTok is a very powerful platform for artists,
huge.
and so yeah, it's really funny because like that part of the video where she does that dance and everything, it's like my least favorite part of the video is the dance itself, but that's kind of what she got for, that's how she got her, jump into the fame. I think that her music, her writing and her presence is much better than that little line dance that she did. So
Well, and those dance videos on TikTok are huge, kind of with that target audience, right?
right.
And
Oh
and
yeah.
the young females are all doing dance videos on
Right.
TikTok and have been since like COVID time frame.
Right. Well, and
That's
it's
kind of
it's yeah, it's where they do it when you can do like a side by side of her
yep.
dance and then you doing that same dance, and that's how everybody kind of like jumped on that bandwagon.
You
And
should
then,
start doing those on our account.
oh yeah, I'll get on that. I'll do
For
the
those of you
dash
that don't
dance.
know, Jesse's pretty decent when it comes to cutting a rug. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, you if it was down to the two of us, you would definitely want him on the TikToks doing the dance videos, not me.
Let's just say I dance a hell of a lot better than I sing.
Yeah, I don't do either so well, but I can duet a Gavin Adcock video and chug a
But you
beer on the
can
roof
you
of a
can
bus.
chug a beer on the roof of a bus pretty good.
So yeah.
That throw was a
Hey,
little weak, but
I mean, sometimes you can't pick whose arm is tossing you the beer. So, moving on, Cat Luna is the next one on the list, and I wasn't real familiar with Cat Luna.
mm-mm.
Before the list came out, and obviously I jump on and start checking everyone out when that happens. And this chick, damn, she can sing.
Damn,
Like,
Poppy.
yeah, so she's
From
from,
Miami.
well, her family's Cuban, so she's of Cuban descent
Miami.
from Miami. And so some of the songs that she sings in Spanish, and I know enough Spanish from growing up to get me in trouble. So I don't really know what she's saying in the songs that she's singing in Spanish, but
But she's singing some of those words that got you in trouble.
no, no, but just her voice alone is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether she's singing in Spanish or in English.
Right.
Uh, and I was actually thrilled to have come across her thanks to this list, and being able to uh kind of dig in a little bit more to some of her other music.
Right. Yeah, when she popped up the other day and they were doing an interview with her, and I was like, it kind of sounded familiar, but I was like, I'm not really sure. But then once they played one of her songs and everything, and then like you were saying that a lot of her stuff is straight to her heritage and everything like that. So that was kind of where I was kind of like, okay, I think I have heard something like this, but didn't pay too much attention because didn't really know if it was country or not, because a lot of times when you hear music in Spanish and stuff like that, you think of more of you know Spanish music, I guess, not country music. You think of Pedro instead, and that's the stuff that gets me going out in the yard.
No. She's regardless of, coming from Miami or, being of Cuban descent, like when you listen to her sing country, it's like, how in the hell can she sound so good doing country? Because I don't think of Miami as country at all. I mean, I don't think of really much of Florida at all being country. I mean, Miami's as city as it gets.
I mean,
maybe northern Florida or something kind
I
of
think she used
start
to
being country.
I think she rolled with Vanilla Ice on A1A, and he does a country rap now. So
Jesse's clearly sick.
I love me some Vanilla Ice, but when he did that country rap wannabe, no,
Yeah,
no. Cat Luna is nothing like Vanilla Ice doing country rap.
Side note on country rap, I don't know, and this doesn't have anything to do with the next women of country, but I don't know if you've seen or not. Colt Ford is back, took the stage with Brantley Gilbert, and so excited to have Colt Ford back and touring again, and health wise being able to do that.
Brantley Gilbert was not there on Wednesday. Tell me he wasn't. Nope, sorry.
Huh?
Wrong one. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, he's out of it. You guys got all kinds of issues going on, memory issues and coughing and sneezing and everything else. Might just be the age.
Tasha, it's not the age. Tasha told me what she say. It was like, it's the Sudafeds. I've been on all kinds of like cold medicine and everything trying to clear this up. We actually leave for Mexico tomorrow. So I'm like, great, I'm sick and I'm headed on vacation here. And so I've been like pillhead, like popping all kinds of cold medicine. So I might can't take Sudafed with me, I guess. So I've been taking them all here.
Really? Sudafed you can't take to Mexico?
Nope. No inhalers, no Sudafeds.
Not even prescriptions?
Prescriptions, but inhalers, they it's like a no, I guess.
Huh.
Even a prescription, yeah.
Weird.
I'm sure if you maybe, I don't know.
That's funny because you can go into, like, when I was stationed in San Diego, we would go to Tijuana and you can literally walk into the pharmacies and buy whatever you want without a prescription.
Right.
So like, why do they care if you bring Sudafed or an inhaler with you?
I don't know. But yeah, they were reading the list of like stuff like, that customs checks for. Apparently there's a big crackdown on that. Vapes. You can't bring a vape into Mexico. Huge fine and like yeah, jail time.
Like a nicotine vape or a weed vape?
Nicotine.
Really?
Like $400 fine and possible jail time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's but then it was like the
Meanwhile,
vapes,
they're bringing fentanyl into our country
all the time, right? Yeah. Right. Fentanyl's fine for to bring into the United States, but you can't take a nicotine vape or an inhaler or Sudafed. Can
you bring cigarettes?
I don't know if you can bring cigarettes in. I'm sure maybe. Even I got this little Vicks inhaler here, like for your nose, like to help you clear up your. It's basically just like Vicks. Can't take this. Can't take that. I'm like, it's Vicks. Yeah, really weird. So
weird stuff. Anyway, we went down the rabbit hole again. We got to jump back on track.
On the rabbit hole.
And so who do we got next on the list, Jesse?
Caitlin Butts is the next one. And this was a girl that it was kind of one of those that like I have heard, but didn't hear. And when I seen her, the only thing I could think of was, if any of you guys watch on Paramount, Tulsa Kings, his love interest in season 2, who owns the horse ranch. That's all I can see every time I see Caitlin Butts, is that girl that's on there, which it is not her, by the way.
She is from Oklahoma, though.
She is from Oklahoma. So, I mean, could be. Maybe it's her mom. Maybe it's her mom. Ooh, I didn't dig that deep, though. Definitely some similarities. But what were you telling me that
so
her
she
parents took her
family took her to see Oklahoma every year.
Yeah.
The musical. And so she just fell in love with Oklahoma. And as a matter of fact, when she started writing, it was based on that. So she's got a great voice. A lot of her videos seem very theatrical.
Yeah.
Which isn't really my cup of tea, like video wise, but voice wise, she's great.
Right. Yeah.
To me, the costumey kind of stuff kind of takes away from it, I guess, would be my
right. Like,
negative,
she doesn't need,
if you will.
She doesn't need to do all of that. Like, just let your voice shine, because she does have a great voice. And
it's almost
great
like there's too
songs.
much going on for me. And listen, everybody can do what they want to do, and that's who she is. And she has a long history in the theater, so it's not shocking. That's when I was kind of digging in. I'm like, wow, well, that makes sense then, because prior to that, it was like, wow, this seems a little gimmicky almost. And then when I dug in and realized that she had, such a long history with theater, then it all kind of made more sense to me, versus just seeing like all the outfits and the theatrics of it. And like, this might be a little extra, but definitely a great voice.
And she's kind of the epitome of grinding it out. Like, she released her first album in 2015. I mean, that was 10 years ago. And, she's just now, grinding. And it was kind of like a 7-year pause where, excuse me, she finally just kind of jumped back into the, the stardom. And so it's just kind of one of those patriots of grind it out until boom, next Women of Country. So
and she's been struggling. Obviously that kind of red dirt country scene isn't super female friendly, if you will. Her husband's a musician. She's big on mental health and self-care and stuff. And I know I read somewhere that recently Wyatt Flores came to stay with them to just kind of get some downtime and just kind of break away from everything for a little bit and get a breather.
Nice.
So, that's huge to be able to do that. And one of the articles I read, and you can tell she's so genuine. She was talking about how concerned she is for Lainey Wilson's mental health, who's just been kind of grinding and then hit, and then is just go, constantly.
Everything. Doing everything.
And everywhere. And so in this interview, she was talking about, worried about Lainey's mental health and just her stress and all that kind of stuff because of how much it can tax you. Like we were talking about already, touring 12 months out of the year, 5 days a week. So I think that's a great thing to bring into the mix, to be concerned about other people, and is probably going to factor into how she pursues her career by putting herself over kind of industry norms, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah. And anybody that's watched our podcast or, checked out season 1 knows that we talk a lot about the mental health and, the day-to-day of everybody's struggle and more importantly, not more importantly, but same thing with a lot of these artists that you think like, oh, they're music artists, they're famous, they're doing all this. They don't have any struggles like that, but there's more mental health issues and struggles, with musicians, just like there are with everyday people. So very cool that,
and
she's kind of a frontline in that as far as, starting to worry about other people's stuff. And like you said, if she does take a pause or something like that, it's because she's, worried about her own, and
or even possibly her husband's, because I didn't mention this to you before the podcast, but her husband is in Flatland Cavalry, the band.
Oh, okay.
So, in one of the interviews that I had watched, she was talking about how, they're both touring, and so for both of them to be home at the same time is not super common. So, I'm sure if he was dealing with some stuff, she'd probably pull back off the road too and be like, no, I'm going home to be with my husband and,
right.
Make sure he's good. So, and really, as much as all of us want artists touring so we can see them, it's also, I'm self-aware enough to realize that that's also selfish, right? Because
right.
would you want to work, 5 to 7 days a week all year long, and be on the road constantly and never come home to where you can like kick your feet up and relax and have your own time? I don't think any of us would really want that, but we want it from the artist because we want to see them, and especially when we like them and we want to see them again the second time in the same year or third time in the same year or whatever it may be. It's a rough life for people on the road. So kudos to her for, being cognizant of that and making life a priority over, the industry, if you will.
Right. There's it's wealth isn't everything. It's well-being that's more important sometimes. So
yeah, you got to find that balance for sure.
Absolutely. That's why some people get hobby farms.
Yeah.
Hang out with some cows and some pigs and donkeys. Tasha just said, I need a cow to feel better.
Megan says the same thing. She wants the cows and the goats and, me, I wouldn't mind having those fainting goats so I could run out and scare them and watch them just like and fall over.
Got you. You can probably do that with Ryla, just like, play with her like, ooh.
Ha, you fell for it again, goat.
Nice.
I got you with the same one yesterday.
Yes.
Oh.
Anyway, all right, moving on. All right, so I think the next one that we can talk about, so we got Lainey Gardner is the next on the list for 2025 Next Women in Country. This was one that she kind of stuck with me because when I first signed up for a TikTok account, and anybody that follows the podcast or follows our TikTok in general knows that Matt is always on the TikTok. He's always doing the lives. I mean, I jump in there every once in a while, but he's always making the videos. If you guys check that out, he actually dropped one today, which you guys won't see this podcast until next week. But I don't do a lot on TikTok, but when I first started TikTok and it asks you kind of like what your interests are or whatever, and I put music, and this girl came across on my TikTok, and she was actually one of the first accounts that I actually followed on TikTok because I learned how to hit the follow button on there. And I sent some to Tasha and everything like that, and just just great voice. She was doing some her main video that she blew up on. She was doing a cover of Fleetwood Mac, and that
Dreams.
yeah went viral. And then I just went down that so-called rabbit hole of like clicking on all of her other videos, and was like, this girl's pretty great. Like, she's pretty awesome. Like, is this what this
I would
TikTok
say
thing's all
she
about?
went. I would say she went like super ultra mega viral.
Yeah.
So I think that thing has got like 60 million views, and like
Yeah.
to get to 100,000, a lot of people say that's going viral. Million is going viral for sure. 60
60
million,
million. Yeah.
you know, you're like a pandemic then at that point, right? Like
And it probably was right around that pandemic time. But yeah, she was one. And then, as I got more into TikTok, and obviously you find more people and stuff like that. And it was kind of one of those things that I've always liked her. But then I don't know if like I just stopped getting on TikTok and following her as much. And it kind of where I was like, kind of didn't really forget about her, but kind of forgot about her. And
well,
then
yeah,
found
you
her on,
definitely fell off the TikToks for a while because you engaged when I first started. You were already on TikTok, and you've kind of backed way off of it considerably, and I've kind of tried to ramp it up. But I do remember when the soundtrack for Twisters came out. I remember you being geeks because you were like,
yep.
"Oh, Lainey Gardner's on," and I'm like, "Who?" And you're like, "I've been following her since I first got on the TikTokies,"
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, I got to check her out then. I'm not familiar with her."
Yeah, yeah. I found her on Facebook then, like all of a sudden it came across, and it probably was around that time when Twisters came out and she was on the soundtrack, and I found her again and then started watching, the reels and stuff. And so yeah, last Saturday when I was sitting on the couch and she popped up as the next one on the list, I was like, yes.
Yeah,
Called another one. Called another one. I knew she was going to be big someday, so but yeah, she's been doing really big things since then. Obviously, she got on the soundtrack of Twisters, which kind of
that
Luke
is probably
Combs.
one of the best soundtracks, by the way,
Oh yeah,
for a movie in years and years and years, at least, if not ever.
right. Can't even remember another one that had that many like just killer songs and killer artists on a soundtrack. So
Yeah,
obviously, Luke Combs is kind of like the face of that. But Lainey had a song on there. Well, Lainey Wilson, but then Lainey Gardner was on it. But yeah, what a great soundtrack, and so awesome that she jumped onto that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing her, you know, jump into the limelight and get recognition now that she's on this. So
yeah, for sure. And I think that, God dang it, this is stupid. It's going to sound
hey,
like a flu ward.
the whiskey helps.
Right. It does.
Shout out Jake Slay.
Any rate, she dropped her debut album in 2024. So she's going to see just kind of that natural progression for 2025 should be
Right.
a killer year for her.
Yeah.
And it's always great when you get to see them make that jump and really kind of launch from that point.
Yeah, I think in 2024 I seen her she was starting to get on a couple bigger name tours and stuff like that, opening, but she wasn't like a steady one. She would just kind of like jump in here and there. But yeah, I think going forward here in 2025, you're definitely going to be seeing her probably open for a lot bigger names, kind of more consistent thing. And then, like you said, into 2026, when some of these bigger names, take their hiatus, she might be headlining her own tour, come 2026. So
I'm sure she'll be headlining a fall kind of winter tour of her own.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the natural way that things go.
Right.
but I want to say, and I'm trying to search right now. Who was it? I just seen her doing a duet with Warren Ziders. That's who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was drawing a blank on it. I'm like, who did I see her
Warren.
doing that duet with that sounded incredible? Yeah, so she's got that duet out with Warren Ziders right now, which is an incredible song, and Warren Ziders is great too. So
Oh yeah.
Always a favorite of mine.
Yep. Oh yeah. Riding the lightning, baby.
Damn right. So, moving on, try and keep this under an hour for you guys. We're gonna jump into Megan Patrick, and while Jesse's kind of been on the Lainey Gardner train for a while, I've been on the Megan Patrick train for a while, and she is absolutely incredible. She's another one though that has put in some serious freaking work, like unbelievable amount of work. Um, and most of her recognition has come in Canada. She's from Ontario.
Right? Yeah.
So she's won 18, Ontario CMA awards over the years. She's won back-to-back female Canadian CMA Female Artist of the Year awards. So, in Canada, she's definitely
Right.
a
She's
much
like the
bigger name.
Lainey Wilson of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got? We had a little error pop up here. Any rate, she's got just an incredible voice. She debuted on the Opry in 2023, even though she's been doing this stuff for years, probably longer. I would be willing to bet she's been doing it longer than anybody on the list.
She's been doing it probably longer than her husband too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd have to look and see. And yeah, for those of you that don't know, her husband is Mitchell Tenpenny.
Tenpenny,
who's also a great artist in his own right.
Who watched us get arrested at CMA Fest last year or 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Outside the ballpark, the fake arrest. Yeah, we did some like fake photo shoot, like we are getting arrested outside of the Nashville Sounds baseball stadium.
I wonder, because he kind of had his little entourage with him. I wonder if she was with him that day. I don't remember. You probably would have, because I just recently discovered her.
I don't remember seeing a female with him though. I remember a couple of guys around him.
Yeah,
because we talked to him for a few and got pictures with them and got some autographs and stuff.
And then his bodyguards called the cops over and arrested us.
Yeah,
you got a little too handsy with him.
Yeah,
you were trying to feel his softballs. It was a softball game that we were at, and he had his bat bag. Sickos.
Sometimes this guy, I don't know. Sometimes.
That's what you get for trying to podcast on a Saturday night.
Right.
With cough medicine.
Well, I tried on a Friday night. I tried on a Thursday night. And on Thursday night, you sounded like you had one of those little things in your throat. And you're like, got to press a button. You're like, hey, this is Jesse. Hey, welcome to our podcast. And I was like, yeah, no, we'll go ahead and skip that. So it's not my fault you get sick. You got a weak immune system.
I guess so. I guess.
It happens.
Anyhow, Mitchell Tenpenny's wife.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure she probably hates being called Mitchell Tenpenny's wife because she's like, I'm my own person.
I'm my own.
How about he's, Megan Patrick's husband? How about we call him that?
I mean, there you go. There you go.
At any rate, she released a single off of the album, which is also called Golden Child, in 2024. And that album
sounds like she belongs with us. Like she should be like the face of the Golden God Media.
Yeah, she did release that album in a gold version like Jelly Roll did.
Oh, did she?
I remember seeing
Nice.
the emails come out for it, to order a gold album, and I was like, oh, God dang it.
She
I
just
don't have
has a
enough
look.
room to put all this stuff. Like, if
Right.
she wants to sign the gold record and send it to me, I'll definitely put it up on the wall for sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hook us up with one of them gold records signatures. I got one from Jelly. So
On the vinyl, though, not on the cover. That's why I hate, like, a lot of these artists are like, oh, I'll sign the cover of it. And it's like, no, I'd rather have the vinyl signed.
Right.
Like, I got that sick one up on the wall of Bones Owens that he signed it with a massive Sharpie, like he was tagging something, back in the day growing up in the hood.
Nice.
And it just looks super incredible. But any rate, that album that she put out, Golden Child, is lyrically just a deep album. Talking a lot about like family issues and trauma and stuff like that. And it's not like you're just run of the mill. Like I feel like a lot of stuff that is super popular anymore is like happy go lucky kind of stuff, and I've always been a fan of kind of like the darker, deeper lyrics that just kind of cut you.
Right.
And Maestas has songs like that where it's like it starts playing, she starts singing, and it's like somebody ran up and punched you right in the gut, and you're just like, oh God, I can feel that. Like,
get you in the feels.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's an incredible album. She is a amazingly talented female artist for sure.
Absolutely. And she has the look of like a country star. Like when I see her, like it's like a mix of like Dolly Parton and Ashley McBryde like mashed up together, like the glam of Dolly and the grit of like Ashley McBryde, and then she just like resonates that. Like she just looks like a country star.
Yeah, well, and she's just country too. Like I remember seeing, I don't remember if it was a Mitchell Tenpenny TikTok video or if it was hers, but it was when it was snowing in Tennessee earlier this winter, and he's like, "What the heck?" And she's like, "What's the problem?" Being from Canada, she's like,
this is nothing.
What? Like, come on, put on your big boy pants. Let's go outside.
Right. It's like us being from Michigan and snow and shitty weather is like a normal thing, and then in Tennessee they get 2 inches and they freak out.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have the road equipment to deal with it like they do in Michigan, which is one of the biggest problems. But I mean, you see how people drive here in the wintertime. Imagine taking a bunch of people, 99% of whom have never driven in the snow, and put them on the road. How are you going to feel?
Right.
I'm going to stay at home.
Right. Exactly.
You guys go ahead and sort it out.
But yeah, and I did see another video too, and I can't remember if it was on Tenpenny's TikTok or hers, but they're just riding around in the side by side, full camo, muck boots, and just tromping around in the mud. And I don't know if they were duck hunting or whatever they were doing, but just country shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that for me, when this list came out, and it was like, thank you for finally recognizing her, in the US. Obviously, like I said, Canada's definitely, been a big supporter of her career over the years, but in the US, she hasn't gotten the same level, I guess, of engagement as she has in Canada. So it was really stoked to see her on this list because I think she's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna be one that you do hear about here in the future. She's not gonna be one of those that falls off for sure.
Yeah, she ain't going nowhere.
No.
So yeah.
And to follow up the list, Matt, who is next on the list?
The last favorite one on the list is Mariah. And I'm gonna just end this podcast with if you guys want to go and check out her music, by all means go ahead. I personally listened to 8 to 10 songs, and I was not able to find a country song, and so I don't know, and maybe maybe I was listening to the wrong ones.
She's from close to your hometown.
If
From
if you
LA.
guys are aware of some of her country music that got her on Country Music Television's Next Women of Country, let me know. Shoot me a message with a link to something she does that's country. Otherwise, yeah. Maybe the next thing she's gonna do is country, and that's why she's on the list. I don't know.
It's one of those things like we talked about before that, you know, sometimes CMT gets everything right and sometimes they get some stuff that's a little bit, you know, but we don't sugarcoat nothing here on Y'all Need Music. You know, we're big fans of country music. We like people that portray country. And it's just one of those that, I mean, I'm not a personal fan of Shabuzi myself, even though he had the number one. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Right.
He had the number one, you know, song in the entire country, you know, multiple times. But it's just one of those things that if you don't see it for yourself as far as like country, but this was one of those that we've listened to multiple tracks and we just don't feel it like we feel all these other artists that are out there, you know, grinding.
My big thing is you and I have talked when we started this podcast. It was never that we were going to badmouth an artist, and so I'm not going to badmouth her at all.
Right? No,
I'm
yeah.
sure there's a lot
she's
of people
incredible.
out there
she has a great voice, but
right. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love her music, and that's fine. I won't badmouth an artist because at the end of the day, they're all more talented than I am. But I'm also not going to say, oh, you need to go check this person out. You're going to like them, because I do think that even though I'm a nobody, I want my word to mean something. And
absolutely.
I'm not going to just say, go listen to somebody for the sake of going and listening to them. and Dan and I had this conversation last night that there's a lot of artists that I like that Dan doesn't like, you know, and some of them he'll say, well, and I had to call him out on it because he's like, well, they're not country music. I like just traditional country music. And I'm like, you like Upchurch? That's not traditional country music. And he's like, all right, fair enough.
Church.
So at any rate, like there's all kinds of styles and even kind of like subgenres of country music.
Sure.
And I can like stuff out of all of them. And there's stuff that I don't like. And I just, yeah.
I mean, yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, anybody that does follow us and, you know, knows that we love to promote artists, we love to get you to listen to artists that maybe you haven't heard of, and
great artists.
But at the end of the day, if it's somebody that is not our cup of tea, you know, we're not going to, like Matt said, we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, you got to go listen to them just because CMT told you to go listen to them because they valued them. Because there's been plenty of people that CMT might have put up here that are now way down here at that
people
point
that they've
in time.
overlooked that are
or
way
people
up
that
here.
They overlooked and that are, you know, megastars now. So we're not going to jump on the bandwagon. We're not a bandwagon podcast. We're about good music, you know, mainly country music. And so if we don't love somebody and we don't, it's not something that we're going to put on our playlist. We're not going to sit here and shove it down your throat and tell you that you have to go listen to this person. We would rather find somebody that's way down here that we know is going to be up here, like Mae Estes, like Ella Langley, you know, these people that
they can be up here already, but they're going to go up here.
They're going to go up here, right? But we're not going to.
Belle France. Check out Belle France. There you go. There's one for you.
There you go.
Check her out. She should be up on this list, but she's not.
Right. And there should be plenty of people. Call me,
CMT. We can talk about this next year before 2026.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, if you guys watch season 1, one of our first episodes that we ever talked about, you know that we are big fans of Sadie Bass, a Michigan native that she has toured with everybody all last year. And I did make the prediction that she was going to be on Next Women of Country 2025, and she didn't make the cut. I do believe that she still should be here compared to somebody on the list. So, we're gonna stand behind good music and everything like that. And like Matt said, we're not discrediting her as a musician.
You guys make your own judgment call. Go listen to her. Maybe you'll like her. I don't know.
Could be. And then send us a track of the one that you guys like. So, hit us up. Yeah. Make us a believer.
On that note, we're going to get the hell out of here for tonight. So we'll catch you next time on
Y'all Need Music Podcast.